Welcome back, DNG fam. I hope everybody's having a wonderful week. So we wanted to come up here and let you guys know how we met and how we ended up back together. And so yeah.
So we want to say thanks for everybody last week watching the video. We had a lot of support on the initial video. So first one we'll kind of do how we met video, like she said, and go into more details. So because I took the initial action, which I feel like every guy should at least initiate that conversation, right? It may look a little different, like it's not seeing a girl at a bar, but like in today's society, in true millennial fashion, I slid in her DMs on Instagram. I was like, ooh, Shawty looking kind of fine right there. Let me see what I can slide in, right? But you always have to know how to say like the right thing, and that's always the catch, right? So when I was sliding into her DMs, obviously her profile name was Giovanna on there, so I was like, what can I say that's creative to kind of slide in? So all I did was I sent one letter and one number. I sent the letters G7.
Yeah, pause. Okay, so I remember he had DM'd me that. I was like, who's this cutie DMing me? But, you know, I'm acting hard to get because I'm like, nobody has time for guys. I'm being an independent woman right now. And I just want to be alone. I want to be by myself. So I'm at the stoplight on Capitol Boulevard. I live in Raleigh. And I'll check my DMs, you know, because who wants to stop at the red light and be bored? So I opened my DMs and it said G7. And I wrote back, I was like, G7? He was like, yeah, because you a snack. And I was like, oh, he's creative.
So for those that don't get it, G7, when you type into a snack machine, is always labeled by row and by number of item. So I was like, oh, G7, like if I picked that because you were snacking a snack machine.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, creative. And I blushed, y'all. I blushed. I was like, okay, I see you, creative guy. So we just talked on the DM, and then I gave him a number. We started texting. We FaceTimed that night.
Yeah, so that was the other part too. So when we start FaceTiming, we ended up talking on FaceTime for like a couple hours, and we actually ended up having a worship session on the FaceTime. We were like, yo, what's your favorite worship song? And we just started going through like the whole list, and we started finding like different worship songs that we had in common. And we definitely went down the list and just like had a moment.
For hours.
On FaceTime, by the way, off of a DM slot. So.
I mean, it might have been a tier or two. We were just worshiping on FaceTime. Never met this guy before. It felt nice. It felt right. You don't meet too many guys out here that, oh, excuse Nala. That's Nala, our little baby. Right there. So yeah, it was really nice. And then he lives in Charlotte and I live in Raleigh. So the following week or 2 weeks later, I think, I had a thing on Saturday.
She had like an event, like an engagement speaking, conference.
So I was like, you know, I'll be there just in 2 weeks, so we can probably meet each other. It was like, bet. So I was like, you know, I can go Friday. I can get Airbnb because, you know, I know you like that. I don't want to stay at your house.
She was trying to make sure she didn't get kidnapped. She didn't know if I was crazy or not, right?
Yeah, and I can't believe I did that. Oh my goodness. But I got an Airbnb, and I'm pretty independent. Like, I got my pepper spray. I need to get a taser. That's another conversation.
So after she ended up getting here, actually we kind of hit like a little like boop, like on the way when she was coming down. So like on the Friday when she was supposed to come down, I was like, I had said something. What did I say?
I don't remember.
I can't even remember. But I had said something and she did not agree with it. And she's like, you know what? I'm not coming no more. And I was like,
yeah, he was crushed.
I was like, okay, this is not gonna happen. I'm putting my foot down. But I didn't tell her this. But I was like, look, you gotta come. We gotta figure this out and make sure.
You called me like 10 times and I ignored the calls. He texted me. He was like, what's wrong? Like, what happened?
Yeah, because I'm thinking we like joking and vibing, and all of a sudden she just like, I'm not coming. Stops responding. Cold. She tried to ghost me, y'all. She tried to ghost me, and I was like, get back in here. Had to reel it back in.
I sure did. So we kind of talked things out, which I appreciate that about him. If I ghost him or give him the cold shoulder, or, you know, I'm working on it, y'all. I'm working on it. He'll just take the initiative and be like, okay, what's wrong? Let's talk about it. So I've gotten a lot better at it.
So, long story short, that whole weekend, I obviously had a whole weekend planned. She ended up meeting a bunch of my friends, ironically, that first time. We did like Top Golf. I took her to the art museum. A lot of people that don't know, if you're new to the channel, I love artwork. Mostly just because you can appreciate the time and effort that goes into it. And I think I can just appreciate love languages of time because you never get it back.
Yeah. Well, let me tell them about how I met your friends.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
So, the first time we met, never met this guy before, and I meet him, and he's like, hey, I have a whole date planned for us. It's okay if you don't want to do this, but my friends, they're all together. You know how adulting goes. You don't really see your friends much, let alone all together.
Right, exactly, especially the older you get.
Right. So he's like, we can go to Top Golf. I already have a date planned for us. Or if you're okay with this, can we like go to my friend's house and have a game night? Shout
out to my boy Shad, twins, Drew.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, no, that's fine. I'm a very social person. I don't care to meet new. I love meeting new people. So I was okay with that. And then I met all his friends, and thankfully a girl was there, Shay.
Shout out to Shay. What's up, Shay? If you're watching the channel.
I appreciate that. And mind you, it was 40 minutes away from his house.
Yeah, so I live on the south side. I'm not going to say where specifically, but Charlotte is a big circle. I live on the south side of that circle, and my friends live on the north side of that circle. And so it was a nice little significant little drive. Mind you, this is after she already drove from Raleigh to Charlotte, which is about a 2.5 hour drive. As soon as she get here, I'm like, yo, do you mind driving a little bit more? I didn't make her drive, obviously, but
I don't drive.
Yeah, I drove, but I was like, if you don't mind riding after you just got here, then we definitely can make that happen. So what was your initial impression of like the guys and me and like the whole interaction, like the whole night?
They were so nice. They were super cool, super welcoming. And I'm okay with meeting people, but sometimes people are funny, like, who is she? No new friends, circle small. You know, people are funny like that, but thankfully your friends aren't like that. And that felt very welcoming.
Yeah, so a little background on me and my friends. We have been friends. The initial group has been friends since I was literally 9 years old. So we're like a super tight group. And we ended up not only like growing up together, but we also went to the same college together. I was a college athlete, ran track and played football. And we were all athletes together in college. So we're like super tight. And she's coming into that circle for the very first time, let alone on our first date. And she handled herself like a pro. So I was kind of impressed with how she did that.
Champ.
So
that was cool. And what's next? Then the next day he took me out on a real
so
date.
then that's the part where we kind of went through, the traditional date stuff. I think our first date was like brunch, and then we did the museum and did some Top Golf stuff. So
it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then
okay,
so that's how. So fast forward, and what now? 2021.
Right.
So we met DM slide. December 2018. So
Yeah.
we've kind of been talking on and off since then. I think the very last time that we talked, I was like, I'm not messing with him anymore. I was just very cold-hearted, and like I didn't really take any bull crap from anybody. Not that he was a bad guy. I wasn't ready.
She was in her independent phase. I mean, and just also too, like, guys have to be ready too, right? It's a big commitment. Correct. And I kind of recognized, like, okay, this is not somebody I can just like casually date, as they say, or
I'm not the one. I am not the one.
You're not the one?
I'm not the one.
Okay, so
I mean, I'm the one now, but I'm not the one to I'm not the one to play with. And good girls kind of smell that from a mile away. And I think so. Fast forward around August 2020, I kept thinking about him, and I had a dream about him actually. So I was like, that was weird. Whatever. I ignore it. I ignore the signs. So then I saw a dog that looked just like his dog, a Sheltie, and you never see them around where I'm from anyway. So I was like, oh, okay, that's cute. Reminds me of Diego's dog. Cute. And then I went to get my eyebrows done the very next day, and I see a car that looks exactly like his car.
Skirt.
And he drives a car that I don't see those a lot. It's very seldom that I see them. And I was like, is Diego here?
It's a sign.
I was like, okay, that must be a sign. So like, I just could not get this man out of my head. Not in a bad way, or I just didn't know. And I wasn't even thinking about relationships at all. So, he's so hyped for this. Maybe because he slid in my DMs. He was like, oh, it's worth it. So I DM'd him a week later. A whole week later. Because I was like, no, I don't have time for that. So I DM'd him this long paragraph. Because we weren't really on talking terms at the time. And then he wrote me back the next day. Because I wrote him at night. And then he wrote me back the next morning. And then we kind of just hopped on the phone later that day. And we talked for like 2-3 hours. Just catching up. Felt like I was talking to my best friend again. Oh, look at you blushing. Anyway. So we talked for hours, and then the following week, I was visiting my friend Jada. Shout out to Jada. I was like, hey, I'm visiting my friend. Maybe we can, catch up. And then since then, we kind of just hit it off.
Yeah. So we've been together ever since then. So
we've been inseparable since then. And that's all.
Was there anything else you wanted to add to that story?
No, since you guys have subscribed and here in our journey, I just felt like you guys
should at least know how it started, right?
Yeah.
Like, so the whole point of the story is we're not perfect. Nobody is, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
We have our ups, we have our downs.
Yeah.
We, I guess we don't have like a cute meet, but every love story is different, and ours is unique to us, which is super dope. So
yeah, and it's very important not to compare yourself to other stories or couples. God has ordained your steps. So just trust him in all of his ways.
Yeah. So that actually we'll stop it there. That concludes the video for the week. We appreciate all love and support.
Yes.
Like, subscribe. We appreciate it as the channel continues to grow. And thank you guys.